So there I have given dipole moment mu is nothing but the product of charge and distance. That is called dipole moment. If you have observed dipole moments order with respect to alkyl halides, that is alkyl chlorides is greater than alkyl fluorides, that is greater than alkyl bromides, that is greater than alkyl iodides. It is the dipole moment order. Here particularly alkyl chlorides having higher dipole moments than remaining. So there I have given reason also given. The last one, boiling points. First thing, boiling points are directly proportional to molecular mass. That is nothing but molecular weight that is given. So here, based on that, therefore, generally methyl fluorides, methyl chlorides, and methyl bromides and methyl iodides. See this here. So molecular mass increase along with that boiling points also increase. See there. Not only that, if I have given only methyl chloride and ethyl chloride and propyl chloride and butyl chloride. See this. There also number of carbons increase along with boiling points also increase. Number of carbons along with boiling points increase. So then I have given isomers given. For isomers, isomers means what I have given, same molecular formula, different compounds are called isomers. See, this is given. For example, it is a butyl bromide, secondary butyl bromide, tertiary butyl bromide. These all have same molecular formula. What is the molecular formula? C4H9Br. अभी हाइड्रोजन्स लो, आप हाइड्रोजन्स लिया तो C4, 4 कार्बन्स, 4 कार्बन्स, 4 कार्बन्स, H9, H9, H9Br. So isomers. Okay, these are called isomers. Different compounds having same molecular formula. What about isomers here? How to say isomers boiling points?
Branches.
Very good. Number of branches. So there I have given for isomers, boiling points are inversely proportional to simply number of branches. Otherwise, boiling points are directly proportional to surface area. Now you see here, इसका surface area compared to all molecules height. It is the surface area. Okay, more van der Waals forces are present, but here see, here somewhat surface area decrease, van der Waals forces also decrease. Either or be decreases. So here van der Waals forces decrease. See, surface area large. Van der Waals forces of attractions are large. Van der Waals forces are large, boiling points also more. Therefore, what is the boiling points order? What is the correct order boiling points order?
A greater than B. A
A is greater
greater
than
than
B.
C.
B is greater than C. Okay, that is the correct boiling points order, right? Okay, up to that completed. Up to that I have given boiling points order. Therefore, okay, then one more thing. Wait a minute. Now say So solubility, say about solubility. What about solubility? Last point, solubility is given. Say that solubility. What is the solubility? So solubility wise, so alkyl halides are very slightly soluble in water. Slightly. Okay. Say. Okay, almost I have given. So these are insoluble in water but soluble in organic solvents. What are organic solvents? Organic solvents means organic compounds, alcohols, ethers. These are called organic solvents. Okay, 8 minutes. So solvents are two types: organic solvents and polar and non-polar. What is a polar solvent example? Polar solvent means water given. Non-polar solvent examples: organic solvents. Organic solvents means chloroform, carbon tetrachloride, ether alcohol. Organic compounds are called organic solvents there. So here, alkyl halides and haloarenes, these are insoluble in water, not soluble, because not complete polar. But water is a polar solvent. But alkyl halides and haloarenes, these are soluble in organic solvents. That is given. Next point given, dihaloarenes. Okay, dichlorobenzene, orthodichlorobenzene, metadichlorobenzene, paradichlorobenzene. There one CT point important, what I have given. So orthodichlorobenzene, metadichlorobenzene, paradichlorobenzene. With respect to boiling points, almost ortho, meta, para, dichlorobenzenes having same boiling points. But melting points, if you are observed, para dichlorobenzene having, para means exactly opposite. Para dichlorobenzene having very higher melting point than ortho and meta. Why? Why the para dichlorobenzene shows higher melting point? What have given reason? Anyone? What is the reason? What is the reason? So para means what about that? Para means these are present opposite directions. Opposite. Now see. So here para means it is okay. This is a benzene. Here chlorine. Here chlorine. Para. So 1,4 positions are called para. 1,2 ortho. 1,3 meta. So para dichlorobenzene having, why this shows higher melting point? See, para means the two chlorines are present. Two chlorines are present like opposite directions, like this. Para 1, it is a 4. It is a 4. It is a 1. Okay, 1, 4. Para means these are symmetrical distribution, equal distribution. Symmetrical means these atoms are closely packed like this, close packing. Because of that close packing, for breaking very difficult. So it can show higher melting points. But Ortho meta means they are present like this. Okay, between forces of attractions are present, not very tightly. It is a ortho. It is a meta, but it is a para. Para means what about that? Opposite. 1, 4. 1, 4. Tightly bounded the atoms. So which can show higher melting points. We can say reason why para dichlorobenzene having higher melting point than ortho dichlorobenzene and meta dichlorobenzene, because due to the symmetrical arrangement. Symmetrical means equal, same, equal arrangement. These are closely packed. Due to symmetrical arrangement, the atoms are closely packed, because due to close packing, which has higher melting points. That is the reason. That is most important. Boiling points wise, few difference is there, but almost nearly same difference we are observed. But melting points wise, we are observed very high difference. Why? Because melting points depends on arrangement of atoms. So here para means these atoms are symmetrical arrangements. Symmetrical. Due to the symmetrical arrangement, atoms are closely packed, because due to close packing, which can show higher melting points. Okay, opposite 1, 4, closely packed like this. But side attractive forces are less. So up to that completed. These are the physical properties. Now, see. So here, before we go to chemical properties, so next chemical properties, but before that, they are given one concept given. So chiral. So already I have given. What is called chiral carbon?
Carbon atom bonded with 4 different atoms.
Very good. Which carbon bonded? Say this. It is a carbon. It is bonded here A, here B, here E, here. Okay. Yeah, whatever I have taken. So here, which carbon bonded 4 different atoms or groups? That is called chiral carbon. This is also called one more name, asymmetric carbon. Asymmetric carbon. Asymmetric. Chiral carbon. Okay, chiral carbon means a carbon which is bonded 4 different groups, that is called chiral carbon. Now, here this carbon surrounded by A, here B, here E, here F. Okay, whatever that 4 different groups shown, that is called chiral carbon. Okay, for example, they are given one question. Which of the following compounds show optical activity? Optical activity and optical isomers, both are same. Okay, main thing, if 4 compounds A, B, C, D options there. So which one show optical isomer? Otherwise, which one show optical activity? How do we identify? What is the condition? Okay, 4 options there. Okay, which one show optical isomer? Otherwise, optical activity. Question there. Okay, to show the optical isomer, first we want at least one chiral carbon required. That is the condition. Chiral carbon. What is called chiral carbon? Which carbon itself bonded 4 different atoms or groups, that is called chiral carbon. Okay, immediately what they are given, all options check one by one. The carbon surrounded by, if 4 different groups or atoms are there, that can show the optical activity. That is nothing but optical isomers. Very simple. So this is the chiral carbon. Then, so after this, I have given one experiment also given. Based on experiment also, we can say the optical activity. Optical activity. So how to show the optical activity based on experiment? I have given first sunlight given. See, there is a bulb given. This type of experiment given. No? Bulb. Bulb. There is a bulb. Source of light. Okay, this light is called what we can say. It is which type of light? Ordinary light, normal light. Ordinary light. Okay, ordinary light means very simple, normal tube light, normal light. हमारे घर पे रहते वो lights, ordinary lights. Okay, ordinary light means उसका photon, energy. Energy is nothing but light, lighting. The photons vibrate all directions equally. Okay, हम बीच में लाइट लगा दिया घर पे, रूम पे बीच में लाइट लगा दिया. When we are okay switched on, what about the light equally? Generally, the light, all photons, nothing but energy. That is nothing but light. So these photons are vibrate all directions equally. Okay, that light is not only vibrate one direction. We are observed throughout the room. We are getting the light. What is the meaning of that? The light photons vibrate equally all directions. So that type of light is referred as a ordinary light, normal light, otherwise sunlight. That is also referred as a ordinary light. Tube light, bulb, ordinary light. Now, so this is called ordinary light. The light is passed through. This light is passed through one prism. I have given one prism. It is a prism. So particularly this prism is called, this name they are given Nicol prism. Okay, Nicol. It is made up of calcium carbonate. By using CaCO3 material, we prepared that one. That is also called calcite. Calcite. Calcite formula CaCO3, otherwise calcium carbonate, limestone. Now the light, normal light, passed through a prism. Okay, now this prism emits the light. When we pass the light through prism, the light emergent out. Okay, this light is emergent out. The coming light we are observed. After the emitted light, we can take the one photographic film. Here I have taken one screen, one black screen, back side. Okay, prism ke back side, I have taken one black screen. So from the prism, the light is passed through prism. The coming light I have taken on one screen. So black screen pe we are observed all photons, white light we are observed black screen pe. All radiations are vibrate one direction. Okay, how to know that? We are clearly getting, okay, black screen over we are getting 4 lines, 5 lines, like one direction we are observed. For example, this is the white screen. Okay, it is referred as a black screen. And that we are getting the type of lines. All lines are vibrate one direction. Not all equal. These all are white. Before ordinary light means all are vibrate equally. After passing through Nicol prism, we are getting all are vibrate one direction. This type of light is called what we can say plane polarized light. Plane polarized light. Okay, what is called plane polarized light? A photons vibrate only one direction. All photons are vibrate only one direction. That is called plane polarized light. If the photons are vibrate all directions equally, that is called ordinary light. Okay, now if they are given one organic compound is given, some amount of organic compound, say it is optical active or not. So we take that organic compound in one polarimeter tube. Okay, it is look like one box. Okay, box may here one inlet, one outlet, right? Holes, right? So they are given organic compound. I have taken this is the organic compound. Now, what is the question? This compound is optically active or not? That is the question. Now, this plain polarized light is passed through that organic compound. So the plain polarized light is passed through the organic compound. See, we want this compound nature. After that, again this light is emits out like this. So now in such process, so again we are taken one black screen. I have taken one black screen. Okay, on that black screen, if this plain polarized light, if you are observed like this direction, see, it is bending either towards right or left. Okay, here it is bending like this. It is towards right bending. Otherwise, it is towards left bending. See this? If the light rotates, this plain polarized light after passing this organic compound, if the light is bending either towards right direction or towards left direction, any direction towards right or left, if bending, in such case, we can say this organic compound is optically active organic compound. Active. Optically active means it can show optical isomer. Optically active means they are observed compulsory this organic compound having at least one chiral carbon is present. Then only it can rotate the plane polarized light either towards right or left. Otherwise, if this organic compound having, there is no chiral carbon. There is no chiral carbon. Okay, we get the light after this, we are getting the light as it is. So before how to there, the direction, here we get the as is same direction. If the directions are no change, if the direction is the no change, here as it is we get the light. The direction is no change, it is called optically inactive. Optically inactive. Inactive means it cannot show isomerism. Inactive, not active. It cannot show isomerism because having there is no chiral carbon. Understood experiment?
Yes, sir.
Now here, if optically active, which type of active? Very easily we can say, see, if the light rotate towards right direction, it is a clockwise direction. See, clockwise. The type of rotations are called dextro rotation. Dextro. Dextro is nothing but towards right. Towards right is nothing but clockwise. It is denoted by small d or plus positive sign. If anywhere small d is there, dextro rotation. The organic compound to rotate the plane polarized light towards right, clockwise. So that organic compound is a dextro rotatory compound. Otherwise, if it rotates the plane polarized light towards left, observe this, it is an anti-clockwise direction. Anti-clockwise direction, we can say the rotation name Leo. Leo. Leo is nothing but anti-clockwise. Left Leo. Right dextro. So it is denoted by small l or negative sign. Say this. So now I have taken it is the organic compound. This organic compound here, I have taken one mirror. See. So one chiral carbon, organic compound, any organic compound, if having one chiral carbon is there. See this example. Okay, here I have taken it is a carbon having hydrogen, having CH3, having C2H5 having Cl. Okay, whatever that. It is a organic compound. Compulsory, it can show the isomerism, right? See, because C2H5, CH3, H chlorine. It is a chiral carbon. Chiral carbon means it can rotate the plane polarizing line 100%, either towards clockwise or anti-clockwise. Okay, if I have taken here one mirror, see here mirror. What about its image? Okay, here C2H5 no change the position. Okay, here H position also no change. We are observed here chlorine, here CH3. Okay, left right changes over. Now, if this compound is a dextro compound, B form. So dextro, if it is rotate the plane polarizer line towards clockwise, automatically it rotate the towards anti-clockwise. Opposite लेना, एक clockwise है तो other one anti-clockwise. ये anti-clockwise लिया तो clockwise लेना है. So these isomers are called, it is a D form, it is a L form. Form or isomer. The D and L forms are called what we can say optical isomers. Optical isomers. These optical isomers are non-superimposable object and mirror images. Non-superimposable. Okay, non-superimposability means look like object and mirror images are called non-superimposable object and mirror images. These non-superimposable object and mirror images are also called, I have given enantiomers. Enantiomers. What are enantiomers? A complete object and mirror images are called enantiomers. 100% it is an object, that image. That type of relations are called enantiomers. So if any organic compound having at least one chiral carbon is there, that type of organic compounds are shows optical isomers. If one isomer is a D form, other one is a L form. D isomer, L isomer. D dextro, clockwise, L Leo, anti-clockwise. This type of non-superimposable object and mirror images are called enantiomers. Okay, what about the non-superimposability means? If I have taken here B, here one mirror, here B, we are getting reverse like this. This relation is called non-superimposability. Okay, American car and Indian car. If you observe both cars difference, steering, okay, here we are getting right direction, there left. So that type of two examples of non-superimposable object and mirror images look like. What about superimposability as it is? Superimposability means, for example, I have taken one circle here, apple here, here mirror here. We get the apple as it is on the mirror, there is no change. That is called superimposability. Superimposability means as it is. So as it is, we are getting the mirror without difference. That is called superimposability. Take ball here, ball. Okay, that is keep in front of mirror. Ball keep in front of mirror. Okay, we get the image. If you are observed ball and its image, okay, there is no change we are observed. That type of relations are called superimposability. Superimposability. Okay, otherwise in front of mirror we are stand like this. Compulsory we are the object and our image. How do we are observed? Left right hands are changes. That type of relations are called non-superimposability. So always optical isomers are non-superimposability. That type of non-superimposable object and mirror images are called enantiomers. So everyone, already have given notes that previously isomerism may given. So that isomerism notes once again revise that.